Hey there, in today's video we're going over the 2022-2023 TMSCA General Math Test number 9. Let's do it. Alright, number 11. 11 quarters plus 11 dimes plus 11 nickels plus 11 pennies equals 12 quarters plus how many dimes plus 8 nickels plus 21 pennies? Alright, so to solve this problem, we need to find the values of both sides to find what this missing value is right here. So we can do that by finding what each of these individual values are. So let's start off with this side. 11 quarters, that is 11 times 0.25, which is 2.75. Next, 11 dimes. 11 dimes is just 11 times 0.1. 11 times 0.1 is just $1.10. Next, 11 nickels. 11 nickels is just 11 times 0.05. 11 times 0.05 is 0.55. Next, 11 pennies. 11 pennies is 11 times 0.01. 11 times 0.01 is just 0.11. Alright, now we can add all these together. So 2.75 plus 1.10 is 3.85. Next, 3.85 plus 0.55 is 4.4. Next, 4.4 plus 0.11 is equal to 4.51. Alright, now we know what the left side of the equation is equal to. Now we have to find the value of the right side. So let's start. 12 quarters, that is 12 times 0.25. 12 times 0.25 is just 3. Next, we don't know the amount of dimes, so let's skip that for now. 8 nickels, that is 8 times 0.05. So 8 times 0.05 is just 0.4. So 3 plus 0.4 and then plus 21 pennies. 21 pennies is just 21 times 0.01, which is 0.21. Alright, now we add 3 and then 0.4 and 0.21. That gets us 3.61. Alright, now we know that 4.51 is equal to blank of dimes, let's just write it as D, plus 3.61. That means we can subtract 3.61 from 4.51 to figure out how many dimes there are. So 4.51 minus 3.61 is equal to 0.9. Alright, that means the amount of dimes is equal to 0.9. So if a dime is 10 cents, that means 9 dimes is equal to 90 cents, which can also be written as 0.9. So you get 9, and that's your answer. Next, what is the remainder when the number 87,223 is divided by 8? Alright, so in this problem, you have to look at this number as multiple separate numbers. So you have 8, 7, 2, 2, and 3. Alright, so we're dividing it by 8 to find the remainder. Okay, so what you want to do is, you want to see in these numbers, if you split them up into their own individual values, what multiples of 8 can you make? So a multiple of 8 is just 8 times any number. So 8 times 1 would be 8. 8 times 8 would be 64. 8 times 3 would be 24. And any number like this. Alright, so first, we can see the 8 right itself. That is just 8 times 1, so we can break that up. Next, the 72 is just 8 times 9, so we can break that up. Now we're left with 23. 23, or 2 and 3 separately, are both not multiples of 8. So now we need to do 23 divided by 8 and find the remainder of that. So 8 can go into 23 2 times, because 8 times 2 is 16, and 8 times 3 is 24, which is bigger than 23. Alright, so if we know we can go in 2 times, which is equal to 16, we can just do 23 minus 16 to find the remainder, which is 7, and that's your answer. Next, a nonagon has x total degrees, and a hexagon has y total degrees. What is the value of x minus y? Alright, first, a nonagon, that has 9 sides. and a hexagon has 6 sides. This is important because the total amount of degrees in a polygon, the formula for that is n, the amount of sides, minus 2 times 180. Alright, so we can plug in these two numbers, 9 and 6, and then subtract the result of this equation. So first let's do 9. 9 minus 2 times 180 is just 7 times 180, which is 1,260. Next, 6 minus 2 times 180 is just 4 times 180, which is 720. Alright, now we know what x and y are. So our x is 1,260 and our y is 720. So now we can just subtract 1,260 minus 720 to get our answer. So 1,260 minus 720. That gets us 540, and that's your answer. Next, if a dozen donuts cost $8.64, how much do 5 donuts cost? Well, if we know that 12D is equal to $8.64, the D standing for donuts here, we just need to find out how much 5D is equal to. For that, we have to figure out what 1D is equal to. Alright, so to do this, what you have to do is you have to set up the equation 12D is equal to 8.64 and divide both sides by 12 to get rid of this coefficient in front of the D. So that way we just do 8.64 divided by 12. 8.64 divided by 12 is equal to 0.72. Alright, so 0.72 is our D value. Now we need to find out what our 5D value is. So to do that, we can just do 5 times 0.72. 5 times 0.72 is equal to 3.6, or in money terms, $3.60, and that's your answer. Next, a new picture frame is priced $34.60 and is on stand with a sign reading 45% off today only. How much will be saved when buying the picture frame on sale? Alright, so we're given the price of $34.60, and they're asking us how much will be saved when buying the picture frame on sale. It is on sale for 45%. So we are finding 45% of $34.60. Another way of writing 45% is 45 divided by 100. So we can just do 34.6 times 45 divided by 100. Alright, so instead of doing the complex multiplication in the numerator first, we can do the division first actually. So we can do the 34.6 divided by 100, which makes it 0.346. Now, there's no more denominator on the bottom. It's just 0.346 times 45. Alright, now all we have to do is 0.346 times 45, which is 15.57, and that's your answer. Next, which expression can produce the next term in the sequence, -4, -1, 2, 5, and 8? Alright, so in this question, we are not given the pattern of the sequence, and they're asking us to find the expression which can produce the next term in the sequence. So the way we do that is, right now, the next term in the sequence would be the term after 8, but we don't know what that is. So let's go back one. Let's say that the next term is 8, and the previous term before that, 5, is x. Now we have to find out which one of these 5 expressions can produce 8 using x. Alright, so let's plug in the value of 5 for x in all of these equations. First, x minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1, and 1 is not equal to 8, so that is not it. Next, x plus 12. 5 plus 12 is 17, which is not 8, so that's not it. Next, x minus 5. 5 minus 5 is 0, and 0 is not equal to 8, so that's not it. Next, 3x minus 7. Alright, so 3 times 5 is equal to 15. 15 minus 7 is equal to 8. So that is the correct answer. Because when you plug in 5 for the value of x, you get 8, which is the next term. So that's your answer. Next, 22 squared equals what in Roman numerals? Alright, so we have 22 squared. So 22 squared is nothing but 22 times 22. So this problem is asking us to get 22 squared and turn it into Roman numerals. For that, we first need to know what our Roman numerals are. So you have I, which is 1, V, 5, X, 10, L, 50, C, 100, D, 500, and M, 1000. There are some more different things to Roman numerals, which I go in depth on in a full video just about Roman numerals, which will be linked in the pin card at the top, but let's continue with this problem. Alright, so there's one more neat rule you need to know for Roman numerals, and that is the 4 and 9 rules. So what that states is, when you're writing a 4 or a 9, instead of writing it as I, or V, I, you would write it as 1 before the next number. So what that means is 4 will be written as IV because it's 1 before 5. And 9 will be written as IX because it's 1 before 10. And this repeats the exact same pattern as you go up in the scales of 4 and 9s. So 40 would be XL because it's 10 before 50. And 90 would be XC because it's 10 before 100. And it keeps going up as you go up in the numbers. Alright, now we can solve this problem. So let's go back to this equation over here, 22 times 22. So 22 times 22 is 484. Now we need to convert this into Roman numerals. The easiest way to do that is to break it up into its place values. So you have 400, 80, and 4. So 400 in Roman numerals is CD because it's 100 before 500 and it goes under the 4 and 9 rule. Next, 80. 80 is equal to LXXX because it's 50 and then 10, 10, 10, which is 80. Next, 4. As we saw earlier, 4 is just IV. Alright, now we can combine all these to get CD, LXXX, IV, and that's your answer. Next, let the LCM of 16 and 24 equal A. What is the value of the LCM of A and 72? Alright, so I actually have a full video about GCF and LCM, which will be linked in the pin card at the top, but let's continue with this problem. So, the LCM of 16 and 24. Ironically, to solve for the LCM, you have to solve for the GCF first, which is the greatest common factor. The way you solve for that is you subtract 24 minus 16. That gets you 8. Alright, does 8 go into 16? Yes. Does 8 go into 24? Yes, because 8 times 2 is 16 and 8 times 3 is 24. So 8 is equal to the GCF of 16 and 24. Now, in this case, let's say that 8 did not go into 16 or 24. What you would do is you would break up 8 into its factors, like 2, 4, 1, 8, etc. And then see from the highest factor that goes into both 16 and 24. In this case, 8 does it automatically, so you don't need to check for that. Alright, now back to the problem. Going to solve the LCM now is actually very simple. You have the two numbers, 24 and 16. So what you're going to do is, you're going to pick one of these numbers. Let's take 24, and you're going to divide it by the GCF. 24 divided by 8 is just 3. And then you multiply this number, which is 3, times the other number, 16. 3 times 16 is 48. So now, that is the LCM of 16 and 24. Alright, now we need to find the LCM of 48 and 72, because 48 is equal to A. Alright, so let's first solve for the GCF. 72 minus 48 is equal to 24. 24 goes into 48 2 times, and 24 goes into 72 3 times. So 24 is the GCF of 72 and 48. Now we take the two numbers, 72 and 48, and we divide one of them by 24. So 72 divided by 24 gets you 3. Now you just do 3 times the other number, which is 48. So 3 times 48. 3 times 48 is 144, and that's your answer. Next, moving only right and or down, how many paths exist from point A to point B? Alright, So we're starting at point A right here. So the first thing you want to do is, amongst each of these lines, like this, and these two, the corners on this side, you want to write a 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And the reason for that is, that 1 is the amount of ways you can get there. The amount of possibilities it is to get to that point on this image. Alright, using these 1s, we can solve the rest of the problem. First off, 1 and 1. If there's a box like this, and on the outer corners, there are 2 numbers, you can just add them to get what's in the lower corner, right here. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Next, we can do the same thing here. So the 1 and the 2 gets 3. Alright, now let's go here to this point. So there's only one way to get here still, because you can only go to the right or down. However, if we get to this point right here, you can go from here or here. And as we remember earlier, as I stated, if you have 2 points in the corners, you can just add them to get the other corner point, which is 2. There's 2 ways to get here. Now, since you can only go to the right or down, there's also 2 ways to get here as well. That means when you have the 2 corners, you can add them to get this corner right here. The 2 and the 3 are 5. Alright, next you can add this 1 and this 2 to get to this 3. Now I know they're not corners, however, those are the amount of possibilities on both sides to get into that point. So it has to add up to get to that point. So now we have a 5 and a 3. Those add up to get us 8. Alright, and then in this point right here, you have the 3 and the 1, which get us 4. Finally, point B right here. We can just add the 8 and the 4 to get us 12, and that's your answer. Next, if negative 4/3 of m is equal to 56, what is the value of 17 minus m? Alright, so we have the equation where negative 4/3 of m is equal to 56. So what we need to do is we need to isolate m by itself. So let's first get rid of the denominator on this fraction. We can do that by multiplying both sides by 3. Alright, so when you multiply both sides by 3, on this side it just becomes negative 4m. And on the other side, 3 times 56 is just 168. Alright, now we can divide both sides by negative 4 to get rid of this coefficient of m. Alright, so negative 4 divided by negative 4 just yields m on this side, and then 168 divided by negative 4 equals negative 42. Alright, now we know what m is equal to, so now we can plug it in into this equation, 17 minus m. So if m is negative 42, we can do 17 minus negative 42. So when you have two negatives, they cancel out to a positive, which is just 17 plus 42. 17 plus 42 is 59, and that's your answer. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to show your support. These videos take a lot of effort to make, and I would really appreciate it.